Dear Pennies and Pens, it's your girl, Loud Pen, but you can call me Penny. Today's vlog is called Penny, the best K-pop albums of 2025. So, first of all, let me say thanks so much for watching, checking out the Penny Black YouTube channel, and supporting my business, ISLP, the Ink Spot LLC. ISLP, the Ink Spot LLC, is a creative production company. We create original products and produce events to inspire pennies and pens to ink the life that they've always wanted. Now, before I get started with today's vlog, thank you so much for watching, but y'all, literally next week, next Tuesday, January 13th, I am launching the biggest campaign of my career called Quit Your Job. Why? Because I am quitting my job. I am tired of exchanging my life, my work, my labor, my hours for survival income when I have clearly built a business, products, and a name. ISLP, the Ink Spot LLC, a Black and woman-owned creative production company. I've published 3 books: Make Your Pen Loud, How to Be a Lifestyle Blogger, The Loudest Pen Ever, The Pen Planner. I have launched a vegan fashion line, Pennies and Pens. I'm wearing one of our 100% organic cotton t-shirts right now, Ace, inspired by the one, the only Lee Tay-min. And y'all, I'm ready. Like, it's 2026, new year, new ink. I'm ready to quit my dang on job. So next week, I will officially introduce and launch the campaign, but I had to give you guys a sneak peek. Okay, so let's get into today's vlog. We're going to talk about the best K-pop albums of 2025. Okay. So first of all, before I actually start sharing the albums that will be featured in today's vlog, let me say we are going in release order of these albums. You guys know I am a proud multi-stan. I love multiple different K-pop groups and multiple different soloists that all come from different groups. So I am not going to rank any albums and say this album was better than this album. I'm just going to go in release order to keep everything just even and fair. But these are the albums that I specifically selected as the best K-pop albums of 2025. And I own every single one of these albums except for one. There's one I've already pre-ordered that's on the way. It was a late December release, and I haven't received it yet. And then the other album I haven't purchased yet, but it's on my list, okay? So just to let you guys know, I really do love and feel some type of way about all of the albums featured in today's vlog. So let's get to it, talking about the best K-pop albums of 2025, okay? Let me grab the first couple of albums, and then we'll go through them one by one. Let's get some water because Penny has been talking and yelling and screaming for 3 minutes and ain't even got to the vlog yet. Okay, little baby, we're getting there, okay? We're getting there. All right, the first album on this list, are you kidding me? One of the best K-pop albums of 2025, Winter Heptagon by GOT7. When I tell you that this album, it just has so much depth, so many layers, it's just so much to unpack. I mean, it is just incredible, iconic that the 7 members, all 7 original members of GOT7, got together, put this album together. Every member wrote a song on this album. It is just incredible. It's iconic. Like, I was literally just listening to it before I started shooting this vlog, and I was like, oh my gosh, GOT7, y'all did that. Like, Bam Bam did that with the title track, Python. Then we got track 2, Smooth by Jackson Wang. Who else? Obviously, like I said, all 7 of the members wrote. Track 3, I believe that's the song that Young Jay wrote. And track 4 is Yugium's track. Now, I'm sorry y'all don't have the titles. I know I'm being a bad little K-pop expert in this vlog. I'm supposed to be the expert. All right, but it's not, okay. We'll look up the names. Like, just, I'm not being a good expert. Anyways, and then we have Darling, which was JB's track, Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave was Bam Bam did the vocal direction for that song. Out the Door was written by Mark Twain. Her was written by Jin Young, and then all of the members got together and wrote track 9. So it's just a beautiful, incredible, iconic album. I feel like it's so symbolic of who they are as a group. You know, it came out. I just remember last January being so cold, and I remember the day this album came out, it was so cold, but I remember like feeling just warmed and energized by this album. I remember this album uniting fandoms. Like, I remember talking to my Shao friends about this album, my Mombebe friends about this album. I remember talking to EXOLs about this album. I just remember like every fandom was like on board with this album because it was so special to see a third gen group that's been together for 11 years, you know, celebrate their 11th anniversary, release a new album. All the members are from different countries, different continents. I mean, it's just incredible, you know, like the way they all came together. It was just beautiful. And it's an album that I still remember, that still stands out to me, that is a press play album to me in every single sense of the word. And I can't stop babbling about it enough. So, and then this is just going to be kind of like, this is, you know, yeah, this is the year of me solidifying my position as a K-pop and R&B expert, and, you know, just knowing fan culture. But at the same time, I still want to have fun with you guys, especially on the Penny Black YouTube channel. So I don't want the content here to be so, like, I don't know, planned and structured. Like, I'm going to babble a little bit. I'm going to talk a little shit. I'm going to have my fun. Y'all see what I'm saying? All right, the next album on this list is Zoomin's Interview X. This is only Zoomin's second mini album. This is only the second project he's ever released as a soloist, as a member of EXO, an obviously iconic, legendary K-pop group. They just are legendary. And it's just, I mean, the ending fairy exists because of Zoomin. Like, and it's not even something he didn't pose at the time. It's just like EXO had done a comeback. I'm not even sure which one, because obviously I was not a fan back then and I was not into K-pop back then, but he just like looked cute in the pose. Everybody, all the EXOs have called him like a fairy. It's been like his nickname. And then the ending fairy became a thing in K-pop, and now you have to like look cute at the end of your performance at a music show because of Zoomin. And it's just like, and this is only his second mini album, and yet it was one of the best K-pop albums of 2025 because it was, I don't know, like it was like he's really finding like his style and his voice as a soloist, and he have just some really classic songs on this album. And the most classic songs, in my opinion, on this album are Switch Off and Love Is You. Those two songs in particular, all 6 of the songs on this album are incredible. But Switch Off and Love Is You, those are the kind of songs that like 20 years from now, like it's 2026 now, this album came out in 2025, so that would be 2045. You'll be like, how can I make a song that sounds like Zoom and Switch Off? Like, how can I make a song that sounds like Love Is You? Like, it's just, and that's me also too being very biased towards R&B based songs, because I feel like R&B is like the only genre of music that is just always timeless. Like, I don't know, pop songs sound dated after a while, rock, hip hop, you know, those, they always sound dated after a while, but R&B always still sounds so classic. Like, you go and you throw on anything from some Marvin Gaye to some early Michael Jackson to some, you know, some Teddy Pendergrass, like, you know, to some modern R&B, you know, it's just still just as classic and timeless. This is a classic and timeless genre. So those are my 2 songs that stand out. And I just think that this solidifying Zoomin's place as a soloist is what makes this album so special and one of the best K-pop albums of 2025. Now, okay, accidentally on purpose, Seulgi, sis, you didn't do this album justice. You did not promote this album the way you should have, sis. I was in debate. Okay, so when I was coming up with the list of albums that I was going to feature in today's vlog, right? Y'all know I'm old school, especially when it comes to my serious content planning. I like to do all of that by hand in the pen planner. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a list of all my favorite albums from 2025, right? So I get down basically to the bottom of the list, and I'm like, I suddenly remember Selgi's Accidentally on Purpose, the fact that I actually had a copy of it, the fact that I hadn't listened to it in months, and I'm like, I don't know though, like, should this album be on the list, right? So then I'm like, well, let me listen to it, right? Out of nowhere, every note, every chord, every song flooded my memory. And I was like, oh my God, this album is incredible. Like, but what happened was right after she released this album, about a month or two later, she did a comeback with Irene, who's also one of her co-members of her group, Red Velvet. They have a subunit, Irene and Selgi. So like about a month or two later, she does the comeback with Irene. They do like a tour of Asia. And you kind of, and I, you know what I mean? And like, it was like, oh, so it's kind of like I forgot about Accidentally on Purpose. So when I went back and I threw the album on a CD player, I was like, Selgi, sis, this is it. Like, Selgi has the potential to be one of the top female soloists in K-pop, but she gotta promote, because this album is incredible. Like, every song on here absolutely positively slaps. Like, there is not a single miss on this album. It's like, just you put it on and you're like, okay, it's a vibe. Like, Accidentally on Purpose, it's a vibe. Like, it's just the female empowerment, you know, the lyricism, the production. She literally has a song on here, y'all, called Rolling With My Homies. Like, as a millennial, I'm like, if you're not a millennial, that song probably don't even hit you right, because you ain't really grow up on Clueless and the whole era of Coolio's Rolling With My Homies, because Coolio, the rapper, has a song called Rolling With My Homie, which is on the Clueless soundtrack, which they play the song in the movie, and there's like a whole scene around that song in the movie Clueless. And so if you grew up on that movie like me as a millennial, and then you hear Selgi all these years later doing a song called Rolling With My Homies, and it's like a female version of it, it's just a vibe that I can't describe. Okay. Now, the next album on the list is Kai's Wait On Me. This is hands down my absolute favorite solo album of 2020. I said I wasn't going to rank them. Okay, I lied. So this is hands down my favorite solo album of 2025. This album is just, it's a press play. I feel like Kai really found his style and sound as a soloist. I feel like he really dived into like, okay, I'm going to do like R&B based, like structured songs, but I'm going to make them like dance oriented. It's going to have like some sexiness, some seductiveness to it. It's just a whole vibe. And then, you know, like, so, you know, the title track, Wait On Me, Walls on Top, Pressure, Riding. I mean, and then also the fact that he pulled in the Afro beats on this album. You know, I was obsessed with Adult Swim when it first came out. Y'all know how many times I streamed? Okay, so I have all the copies of this album except for the S Mini version, and I still managed to stream Adult Swim, which was the pre-release single, 558 times. Why I almost needed to listen to this song almost 600 times, why it was that serious, Pennies and Pens, I do not know. I just know that I just work here, okay? So this is hands down. And then I also just like the vibe of this album, the fact that it was called Wait On Me, because it was like his first album after his discharge from the military. You know, everybody really had been waiting for him in such high anticipation, EXOLs. And so for him to call the album Wait On Me and the title track to be called Wait On Me, it just felt like a special moment. I like the fact that he put the album out 2 months right after he got discharged. I feel like I like that he didn't wait. He didn't delay. He was like, okay, boom, here's my album. You know what I'm saying? Wait on me. I love it. Okay. Okay. And so the next album on this list is going to be Baekhyun. Sorry, y'all. Let me get situated. I got an album that is loose. Hold up. Okay. So the next album on this list is going to be Baekhyun's Essence of Reverie. So this is an incredible album, y'all. I absolutely have been in love with this album since it first came out. This is only the second Baekhyun comeback that I've been able to follow since, you know, from beginning to end. And I just felt like it was just such a special album. You know, it does have my least favorite title track of his, which is Elevator, because my favorite title tracks of his are Pineapple Slice from the Hello World album and then Bambi from the Bambi album. But the pre-release Chocolate, and then that other B-side that he released, which was Lemonade, those are two of my favorite songs of his, period. Because when I found out, especially as a black millennial woman, when I found out one of my favorite K-pop artists, Korean artists, got a song called Chocolate, and he on the song talking about So Sweet Chocolate, I was like, oh, Baekhyun, don't do it. 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 All right. So, but yes, no, just his vocals on this album is just incredible, the way it's produced and put together. And then even though that last song, Late Night Calls, is such a sad, heavy song, I love it because I feel like he really did need just like a beautiful, slow, sad ballad, you know, but not like... It's still very modern in its tempo, but it's a slow, sad ballad, and it's just a beautiful song. And then just like Black Dreams is a beautiful song. There was one more song I wanted to spotlight from this album. Black Dreams. I'm sorry, y'all, off the top of my head, not remembering the track list. Yes, No Problem and Black Dreams. Oh my God. And honestly, even Love Comes Back. Like, this whole album just is incredible. Like, they really, really, really did that on Essence of Reverie. Sorry, I got it upside down. But yeah, this is just an incredible album. It was one of my favorites of 2025. Okay. And the next album on this list, I guess this is the second group album on this list, which is SHINee's Poet Artist. This album is only a single album, so only 2 songs, Poet Artist, and then the B-side, Starlight. But what is so just incredible to me as a member of SHINee World, as a member of their fandom, is that the title track, Poet Artist, was written by our eternal shining star, Kim Jong-un. And so for SHINee to finally like really publicly acknowledge like he's our eternal shining star, but he's still always a part of our group. We're going to sing his song in 2025, 8 years later. It just hit different. It's absolutely deserves a place on this list. It's only 2 songs, but they're perfect. They're perfection. It's the members coming together after all these years because Jonghyun's voice is on the title track, Poet Artist. So it's the 5 of them being heard singing together for the first time in 8 years. And I'm going to get emotional, so I'm not even going to focus on this one that much, but that's what I definitely am going to say about this album. Okay. The next album on this list is Yugyeom's Interlunar. This album, and that's what I love about Yugyeom. He's very good about giving you full and complete albums. Like, he only has 3 projects, Point of View You, which is technically branded as a mini album, but it's 7 songs, and they're full songs. And then he's got his first full album, which is Trust Me, and then this is his second full album, Interlunar. So he always gives you like these full projects, and his style is just so unique because it's like this contemporary R&B, but you can hear his influences between 80s and 90s Black American R&B. Like, it's funny because when I saw him live last year, he did a cover of Bobby Brown's Every Little Step, and I couldn't believe, because I was like, what's this 20-something Korean man doing a cover of Bobby Brown's Every Little Step? But then I heard Interlunar, the album, and there's a song on here specifically called Mine, and it's like, I can tell, like, when he was in the studio creating Mine, like, he was thinking about Every Little Step. Every Little Step by Bobby Brown, and it's just incredible to see his growth as an artist, and just to see how he is one of the few modern artists in K-pop and just music in general that really stays true to his own unique style. Like, all his albums sound so consistent to me because he stays true to his style. He doesn't try to do too much and add this new style and do 5 different genres on every album. It's just his unique style, you know, which I love about him. Okay, so the next album on this list is Gravity's Dare to Crave. Now, this is the first album on this list. Let me take a sip of water. That is by a 4th gen group. And Gravity absolutely deserves a spot on this list as one of the best albums of 2025 because Gravity's Dare to Crave, it knocks it out of the park. Like, honestly, like, out of, like, this album, I mean, it's the type of album I can play in the morning before work. I can play it in the afternoon after I get off. I can play it before bed. Like, it's just a press play it all day album. Every single song gives you something different, something new. You hear something different. You see something different. Every single time you play this album, it is absolutely Gravity's overall best, strongest project. I cannot emphasize enough how much they've actually grown and developed as a group and how this album is a true testament to that. How I cannot pick a single favorite song off this album, which is hard because they give you so much diversity on this album, because there's 3 songs on this album that are subunit songs, and obviously the subunits are split. I believe it's 3x3 because there is Jungmo, Woobin, Songmin on Straight Up to Heaven, and then Serum, Taeyoung, and Minnie are on Marionette, and then Stadium is Alan. I could just look at the tracks. Or Alan Wonjin, and Hyung Jun. Yes, and then that's all 9 of them, right? Because that's 3, 6, 9. If you split it up into 3 subunits, yes. So it's just incredible their growth and their progression and how that's shown on this album, and just what they really actually give you on this album sonically, and also the visuals within it also show their growth, because they look like the young, grown 20-something-year-old men that they are. That's what they sound like, and I will just forever support Gravity. I have just become such a hardcore lovey, where they post on Barris, and I'm just like on it, you know, and like I have to have every copy of every Gravity album. Like, I've just become that because they're just amazing. Okay, so the next album on this list is Wavy Big Bands. So they are the second and only 4th gen group that's going to be featured on this list of best albums of 2025. Big Bands is just incredible. If you're a hip hop and R&B head like I am, this is an album you will never be able to really get over. I mean, every song on it. Big Bands is hands down Wavy's best title track ever. It's the best title track that the group has ever done since they've been in existence. Something about Big Bands is so strong and special. I cannot even quite put my finger on it, but it is just phenomenal. Then the B-sides, Ice-T, Whoa, Sad Eyes, Your Song, which was written by member Kyun Kun. Probably not saying his name correctly, but he wrote that song. I mean, it's just a phenomenal album. I mean, I'm not over it at all. I probably will end up playing this album today because I'm like, I gotta hear Wavy's Big Bands today. It's really nice outside. I'm in a great mood. I'm almost done shooting this vlog. Like, it's just been beautiful, right? So Wavy's Big Bands, okay, y'all? Now, let's go through the next couple of albums on this list, because we have 4 more left. 2 more though that I have physically. So the next album is, hold up, let me take a sip of water. Okay, so the next album is Monsta X's The X. Now, this album is definitely hands down one of the best K-pop albums of 2025. This is Monsta X's 10th anniversary release. They celebrated their 10th anniversary May 14th, 2025. And so this was their first album as a full group. in like about 4 years. I mean, they hadn't done a full album, a full group album as all 6 members since 2021 with the mini album One of a Kind. They did do albums in between that, but it was without member Shanu because he was in the military, and then the other members went to the military. It was just a lot going on. So this is the first full group comeback since One of a Kind in 2021. And this is absolutely one of the best K-pop albums of 2025. I would be lying if I said it is my favorite Monsta X album. It is not, but I do love it and I do enjoy it. And I do think that it deserves a place on this list, not just because it's their 10th anniversary album, but because they had such strong, bold songs on the album, like the pre-release Do What I Want, In the Front, Tuscan Leather, Fire and Ice, I Am Savior. They just did such bold, in-your-face songs that are so creative and cool that took you into a different place, with them sonically and musically, and they deserve to be respected for that. Like 10 years into the game, we're still innovating, we're still doing music, we're not gonna do what everybody expects us to do. We're gonna create real art. So that is to be respected, and this is absolutely, like I said, one of the best K-pop albums of 2025. Oh, next album on this list that should have gone before that album, my bad, if we were officially going in release order, is Key's Hunter. Now, this is absolutely my favorite album by Kim Ki-bom. Why this album? I don't know, because honestly, I don't even like horror movies and films. I have not actually watched a scary movie in over 10 years. Like, I'm typically like the scaredy cat person that like, oh, this is a scary movie. Oh, this is the shadow behind me. Like, I can't handle any of that. But I love the way this concept was put together. I love the way this album was put together. I love the creativity. I love the fashion. I loved the sounds. I loved every single song from this album from start to finish. And I love how different and unique this album is. And I feel like it took everything that Key has been building on from this moment and just put it all into this album. And I feel like it stood out. I feel like it's his thriller album. It's the album that deserves to be celebrated. So I will forever be a proud little freak, because being normal is boring as fuck. Like, who wants to do that? So let's all be little freaks, okay? There that is. Now, the next album that's on this list that I don't have a physical copy of yet because I've not even actually purchased it, but it deserves a spot on this list, is Hayes' Love Virus. That album came out at the end of November, on November 27th. Yo, with all the albums that I just featured that obviously came out at the beginning of the year, spring, summer, when you in a vibe, you in a mood. But by the time you get to the end of November, you don't want to follow a new comeback no more. You ready to go home, spend the holidays with your family, eat some good food, kick the bobo, talk shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Hayes was like, no, y'all, I got to give y'all my end of the year album. So she dropped Love Virus. And the album is just beautiful. It's incredible. Obviously, or not obviously, but I originally found Hayes because of I Am of Monsta X, because they have a song on her second full album, which is called Undo. That song is what introduced me to her and her work. And so ever since then, I've become such a huge fan. And she's very quietly the queen of Korean R&B. Like, I mean, everybody got a song with Hayes. Like, I Am got 3 songs with Hayes. She also has a song with Chang Sub. She also has a song with Minnie of Idol. She also has a song with G Dragon. Not G Dragon. I'm saying his name wrong. The one I have the album of. Hold up, y'all. I'm saying everything wrong right now. Jerry Boy. She got a song with Jerry Boy. I said G Dragon, but I meant Jerry Boy. You know what I'm saying? So she's just quietly the queen of Korean R&B. She has a song with Gio of Twice. So she's just, and her music is just that vibe. You light a candle, you pour a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and you just vibe to Hayes. That's what you do with Love Virus. Now, the last album that's going to be on this list, Best Albums of 2025, my bias of Shiny, Meho, his single album, Tempo, which only has 2 songs, Tempo, the title track, and the B-side, You're Right. And when I tell you that album became my most played album of December, like for the entire month of December, I was playing Tempo, which is a 2-song single album album like it was going out of style. Literally had over 300 plays of both the songs, the title track Tempo and the B-side You're Right. So it has to be featured on this list because it's like, how can it be my most played album of December when it didn't even drop until December 15th? I'm putting it on the list of best K-pop albums of 2025. And again, it didn't drop until December 15th. That's how much I feel some type of way about that album because it was that incredible. It's like Minho just totally took his career and he took it to the stratosphere. Like, Tempo was the song that he needed in his discography. He needed not just like an upbeat song, but a bright upbeat song. And that's exactly what Tempo is. It's got that swag, it's got that style, but it's just very bright and upbeat. It makes you happy. And then You're Right just slows it right on down and puts you right back in that vibe. So you could just loop them two songs for hours. So this has been K-Penny, the best K-pop albums of 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all, I gotta go make myself some food because your girl is getting hangry. So thanks for watching. Peace.